guys, this is going to be a spell involving the goddess Brigid, and it is a purification of self, of spirit type spell. And I'm going to talk about everything that's in the setup and why, and then read a spell out to you at the end that you can or choose to use or not. So for this setup we are going to be using a number of symbols that are sacred to Brigid, or Brigid. Now I have my faux drops, my fake snowdrops in the background. They're not entirely necessary, obviously. It's good to have a symbol like that. I like having the symbol and the symbolism of the snowdrop, with that being that hope. You know, that pushing through the snow, that first hint of spring, that hope of being better, a hope of better times to come. You could have like a little picture, you could even draw one for yourself if you wanted it. You don't have to have it there, it helps. Similarly with the swan feather that my friend sent me, that are obviously found on the ground and things. If you don't have access to that, you could use a smudge stick instead. So the main components of the purification spell are the 4 snow quartz around the bowl of purifying mixture, which I'll talk about in a second, a white candle, and I have inscribed an ogam on the front here. Now I've used heather, the ogam heather, and let's grab my picture. So this is the ogam heather, and I chose to go with heather because it represents healing, well-being, and sort of the world of spirit as well. And one of the herbs of Brigid is heather, so I went with that. You could also go with rowan, which definitely has her energies attached to it as well, but rowan tends to be a bit more protective, and rowan is tied in with sort of the more justice side of her, and for me heather felt like a better choice. If you didn't want to use the ogams, you could, you know, write your name on it, you could write her name on it. I'm going to take a piece of paper with my name on it, a white piece of paper with my name on it, and fold that up 3 times for each aspect of the goddess, Maiden, Mother, Crone. And then I'm going to place that underneath the candle, which is going to be firmly embedded in the herbal mixture. The candle is white, as I quite often do. I've attached it to a tea light down the bottom just to... It's sort of a easy make candle holder, rather than trying to sink it into the herbal mixture and trying to balance it and risking it tipping over. Once you've lit a tea light and held a spell candle down on it, it shouldn't then fall off as it burns down. You can also put herbs around the bottom, like I often do. I didn't see anyone doing it before I suggested it, but you know, it's an easy and fun idea. I'm actually going to leave the base pure white, so the candle is separate from the herbal blend in a sense. And because I like it having more than one component in this sense, because whilst Brigid is associated with herbs and healing, she's also associated with the fires of purification. So that is the 2 elements that we are utilising here. I also have a Eucalyptus incense burning. You could use any incense that has a purification or a healing energy, whichever really calls to you. So there's a good deal of white, colour magic wise. The swan feathers are white, the snowdrops are white, the snow quartz is white, the candle is white, and there is the main component of the base is salt. White is an incredible purifier. It's the colour that I most associate with Brigid. I mean, you can see all the physical representations of her right here and how they're all white. She's supposed to wear swan feathers when I saw her in a visualization. She was wearing a long white gown. She's associated with milk and other spring-like things, and white has that spring, purification, fresh breath of fresh air type energy to it. It's just lighter, and the idea of the whole spell is to purify the spirit, so you want to feel lighter. Snow quartz around the outside in 4, so the energies are pointed directly at the candle being the center of the vortex, if you like. You could use your wand to power up the energies. You could use your finger to power up the energies. I'm doing it right now, like that. And the 4, like this, is very good in symbolism of Brigid's cross. So snow quartz also has a very gentle healing energy. It's also known as milk quartz, so it's also tied to Brigid that way. It has a beautiful calming effect. It's very gentle, it's very purifying, it's very gentle, cleansing, healing. So healing yourself gently. The Herbal Blend is mainly salt, which most people will know is the universal purifier. There is also blackberry leaf, rosemary, heather, chamomile and nettle contained within. Blackberry leaf is sacred to the goddess Brigid and is used in healing work. Rosemary is a very basic purifier. That's a really, really solid purifier. It's one of the strongest ones there is, and probably one of the most accessible herbs. If you only had access to rosemary and salt, that would work perfectly well. Heather, we've talked a little bit about heather already. It is connected to the goddess Brigid and has that sort of beauty element, but for this it's more about the healing element and the world of spirit that I mentioned earlier. There is a sense of helping you to feel better within yourself, promoting a self-confidence and a self-love of your own inner beauty. Chamomile is really great for all sorts of things, and purifying yourself as well as the area around you, keeping your home balanced to help your spirit balanced, and is sacred to Brigid at the time of the year. Little yellow flowers. And nettle is another really great astringent, purifying herb just to take the sting out of life. There you go. Oh, I amuse myself sometimes, I swear. So the candle is going to be about the purifying fires of Brigid. The herbs around the base are the healing and purifying herbs of Brigid. The crystals represent the cross of Brigid as well as having their own healing properties. The swan feather is not only representative of Brigid but can also be used within the purification process. Snowdrops are symbolic again, and the incense, as we've mentioned, is purifying. To set up this spell, you could do the invocation to Brigid, your own, or the one that I will have posted previous to this. And then you're going to actually embark upon the spell. As you were setting up this spell, like I mentioned with the sort of joining up of the crystals, you'd also imbue the candle with your own energies. You would hold it in your hands and visualize filling it with white light, or glowing a bit more yellow maybe if that's easier, and visualizing things that you consider to be purified. You could visualize a white quartz crystal with the sun glowing through it, or something like that. Whatever speaks to you of being pure and lighter and getting rid of negativity. If you have a purifying meditation that you like to do, where I know one which is quite an old one of mine, which is a quartz crystal as the sun pushing its light through me and all the negativity going down the drain. I do that one in the bath. You could do an adaptation of this with this and sort of boop. Or you could visualize the candle being surrounded by the ogum plant of choice. So as I picked the Ogham heather, I could visualize heather growing around it. If you'd picked a different one, you could visualize that growing around it. You would imbue each herb as you placed it into the salt. Maybe say something, you know, along the lines of asking it to help purify, again with that visualization. And then when you were all set up like this, you are ready to go. Then you would do perhaps your invocation to Brigid, and the spell that I have written goes like this. By candle white I ask the bride, take my woes, for they reside in my heart and wound me deep. These troubles I do not wish to keep. Blessed Brigid, I ask of thee, in my intent to please aid me. By you of field and swan of sky, O blessed bride, please purify. So mote it be. You would light the candle, and you could say that 2 or 3 times. You could then use your feather, or your smudge stick, or your stick of incense if everything else you do not have, and then use it to purify over the area and over yourself, your entire self. You could say the invocation, the spell more than once. So you could say it once and then light the candle. You could say it a second time and go over yourself with the swan feather. You could then say it a final time and do a little visualization work like the quartz suggested earlier. So I hope that was informative and enjoyable. Many blessings.